Hello and welcome. My name is Bjorn, and today I wanted to thank everyone who's recently subscribed, who's left nice comments. I'm having fun engaging people even though I haven't been uploading. Thank you very much. I wasn't expecting the amount of subscribers I've recently gotten. Close to 100, close to 1,000, close to 1,000,000. The cup is half full for me with this. Thank you very much. In my spare time, I've been writing a new campaign, and I kind of hit a writer's block, and I want to get back to doing something for YouTube here. So I kind of want to get into what I feel like I want to expand more than just doing specific character builds. I think it's really cool, but I want to branch out. I want to make something that I feel, other people could, like newer people to the game, because I noticed that's maybe most of my subscribers. Make them feel comfortable. I don't know. There's an assortment of reasons for this, but today we're going to be looking at what I feel is the two easiest choices for multiclassing. And those two choices, I say, are the fighter and the sorcerer. So today we have ourselves Vanessa Doombringer. She is a wizard. We're gonna be using her, showing examples of of how the fighter or the sorcerer could be very beneficial to, in this case, a wizard. So we're actually going to go ahead and bring this character down to a level 6. I'm going to quickly mention a lot of questions I get and a lot of responses is like, when do you feel is the best time to multi-class? But what time should I go into fighter? What time should I go into sorcerer? That really depends on what you're looking for. Personally, how I will go into multi-classing is I'll look down the character class that I'm starting with. Maybe I'm planning on more the wizard side, so I start off with my wizard, and I look at the archetype that I want to play, and I look if there's anything relatively close down the line that I feel is really cool. And because I'm going to the School of Enchantment, which I have yet to, I noticed that they have this ability called the Instinctive Charm. It's a pretty cool ability, and I'm like, I want that. That's cool. I want to play with that. That's one thing. That's one way you can go off and say, this is how I'm going to multi-class. I want this cool ass ability. And then I feel like maybe I can go ahead and invest into something else because, maybe it's a power gain, or maybe there's something cooler that you even want in that other class. But that's one way. The other way that I find that I will choose is either mechanically. So for example, at the same time, even though it's like the factor of cool is there 100% for this, the mechanical factor is here as well. Of course, this is very beneficial for us, but let's go ahead and quickly look at some of the other arcane traditions, for example. So if we go into the Bladesinger, as we can see here, we gain extra attack at 6th level. Extra attack is amazing, and extra attack for other classes too. Most other classes will have their extra attack at 5th level, say Paladin, Fighter, Ranger. They'll get that at 5th level, so maybe that's a good point in which you can go ahead and branch out and start multi-classing elsewhere. The reason for that is because extra attack it adds to your action economy. The more damage that you can deal, the quicker the things die, the less, technically, if you kill them before they can kill you, that's less healing that they need, your party members need to do onto you, less support that you need. It's action economy based. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave it. I might have to make a whole video on it because it is a very in-depth conversation to be had. Alright, enough rambling on about that of when to multi-class. Let's go ahead and jump into the easy choices here. Now, let's say we get up to our 6th level. This is when we want to branch off. Okay, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, well, how am I playing this character? I'm an Enchantress, I'm an Enchanter. Maybe because I'm a wizard, I'm lacking in defense. So there's two options that you could go with there. We can easily choice. The easy choice is fighter. We're going to be able to gain medium armor and light armor, all weapons and shields, so very, very good. And the other choice is like, you could go specifically a draconic sorcerer, and in which case you're going to be gaining the draconic hide. Personally, though, I'm looking to going into the fighter here because I like not investing my story so much into the draconic side all the time just for that extra AC. But yeah, with the fighter, the amazing things that we do gain, again, with the proficiencies, we gain light armor, medium armor, shields, simple weapons, and martial weapons. An amazing amount of tool sets that we just gain from one level of fighter. We also gain a fighting style. I generally go with defense, increased AC, really good. But the main thing that we gain from the fighter that I would say is the most valuable is, of course, the 2-level dip with the Action Surge. Action Surge is insane for every single class in this game. So how Action Surge will work with us, since we are a caster based, so say we are casting a fireball. A fireball is considered an action. We cast that fireball, and then in case we want to, do even more damage and mess up somebody's day, we can go ahead and action surge and do another fireball in case everything wasn't dead at that point. We get another action. Like, that's how it works. So the one thing I will mention is that you don't gain an extra bonus action. I've had people mix that up quite a bit. Like, we do have a very limited amount of action surges though, because we're only investing 2 levels as far as I'm concerned with this character. We will only have 1 action surge per short or long rest, which is still a fair amount. We could probably use up to 2, possibly 3 action surges per day, depending on how many short rests you take. And of course, if you really desired, you could go even further. Perhaps you want this character to become more of an archetype, more of a fighter archetype. I forget what the term is for a wizard fighter type. It's a Gith? I can't remember. You could go ahead and invest into 3rd level and take an archetype. For myself, I didn't really like into the fighter archetypes with this. I didn't feel like it benefited myself. I felt like I gained enough out of the fighter from just those 2 levels there. So the fighter is amazing, so maybe on top of the fighter, we also want to take Sorcerer at the same time. Now, you don't obviously need to do this. You could go however you want. Like, you could start Sorcerer, add Fighter, go Wizard, go Sorcerer. Make sure you talk with your Dungeon Master, talk about what you want to do, write out a story, give reasons for why you want to, like, multi-class into, especially Sorcerers. I've had a lot of Dungeon Masters have problems with people going from, like, a Wizard into a Sorcerer, because they're like, oh, well, you're supposed to start off as a Sorcerer. Well, technically, no. Something can awaken within you, and then, you know, you have those certain abilities and powers at hand. It's complicated and a lot of bullshit, but work with your Dungeon Master. As long as both of you are reasonable, I'm sure I'll be fine. Anyways, enough rambling. The Sorcerer, we gain quite a few things. Proficiencies, we gain nothing. But what we do gain is we do gain some Sorceress Origins. I'm playing a human in this case, so I liked the idea of Shadow Magic. We already have a lot of defense from the fighter, so I didn't feel like Draconic was necessary. And with this, we do gain a Dark Vision range up to 120 feet, which is invaluable in Dungeons and Dragons. You know, you're going to be in the dark quite a lot with this game. As well, with this, we do gain Strength of the Grave. This acts as a relentless endurance from the orcs. But the 1st level Sorcerer isn't what I felt was so worth it. I felt like it's very well worth it to invest at least 3 levels into Sorcerer. If you're going into any sort of magic casting character, a 3rd level Sorcerer is invaluable for any sort of spellcaster, because we do gain meta magic. Now, meta magic, we can go ahead. I think the default for many people is going to be Quicken Spell and Twin Spell. It's very understandable. Quicken Spell, we're going to be able to take a spell that takes 1 action and 2 sorcery points and change it to a bonus action. So that fireball that we originally cast, we can go ahead, quicken that spell into a bonus action. We can then go ahead, action cast another fireball. It's 2 fireballs. And because we're still a fighter, if you really wanted to make sure everything was dead, you can go ahead and action surge and cast a 3rd fireball. That's just an example of a spell that you could use for that. It's wild and insane, and it can turn the tide of a battle. It's crazy. Of course, there's many other different meta magic options. One thing a lot of people don't know that I should mention is that meta magic is used across any spell casting class that you have at your arsenal, which is why this is so invaluable for us. So, like, we don't need to use our sorcerer spell slot. We can use a wizard spell slot and still use our meta magic options. We can save our sorcerer spell slots to invest more into gaining, like, our font of magic, so that way we can gain more sorcery points if we would so choose. And one thing I will mention with multi-classing with multiple spellcasters, because we are a wizard in this case, where I'm focusing more on being a wizard, I focus on getting my intelligence as high as possible. We don't necessarily need to have our charisma as high as possible. What we could do instead with our spells is say, instead of us focusing on damaging spells, we could go ahead and focus on, like, buff spells, or we could focus on spells that don't require an attack roll or saving throw. Pick out spells that don't require you to have a high charisma and a high intelligence. That becomes a real pain. Just meet that charisma requirement. You know, it's a 13 charisma. That's not very high. I notice a lot of people go for a high charisma, high dex. That's one example of the fighter and the sorcerer working out really well with any other class. Not only that, we could go ahead and if we invest up to, say, even just 14 levels here, 14 level wizard give us 1 7th level spell slot. 7th level spell slot, obviously not as powerful 8th or 9th, but a 7th level spell is insane. That's teleport, that's plane shift, that's a whole bunch of utility that you have at hand. As well, we do gain many other features say the split enchantment ability, in which we're going to be able to now target a second creature with our enchantment spell, or alter memories here at 14th level, so we do gain a lot from the wizard in this regard. And then if we really wanted to, because we have an extra level, we could either go ahead and invest into a third for fighter, gain an archetype. It could be very powerful, very beneficial for us. Or go ahead and invest into the sorcerer level, we gain a new ASI. We gain more meta magic sorcery points. Personally like going with more sorcery points if we're focusing more on casting. So now I believe we'll have like 4 sorcery points, so that's not too bad. We can invest spell slots, change everything up. Sorcerer is an interesting class. I'm not gonna get too much into it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. I'm not gonna get too much into this. I might go further into a further video down the line, explaining more in depth, more detail. I just want to keep. I'm noticing I need to keep these videos shorter to gain more attention. Thank you again for watching. Thank you again for all those who've subscribed and posted nice things and I've engaged with. It's been very, very pleasant. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope this maybe inspired you to play something else. Like with this character, I was mentioning something maybe of like a succubus or succubi, because we're a 14th level wizard, enchantment wizard, and we have some shadow sorcery going on there. So it could be a bit darker, a bit more sinister, and as well we could wear a half plate. It looks pretty badass in my mind. We're in half plate and being a caster type, like, that's really cool to me. It's battle mage-esque. Plenty of different options here in which this could be a playstyle for a number of things. It really depends on the archetypes that you take. So yeah, again, thank you. Have a great day as always, and bye-bye.